thereabout, and then have a change of clothes. I won't be wearing suit to the cocktail because I really would like to stay down and be able to mix with potential investors, and I like to do it in a non-threatening fashion. With the suit, you think I'm also a colleague to Professor OYO. So, on that note, I want to say thank you and God bless you.
Processing it. So I think I'll be talking about that. And I think as you look at population up, there is also a need for vocational training. And agriculture.
So if you feel the need, must underpin the key priority areas of our administration, and that is one, health. And when you look at what we have achieved on that health, in terms of infrastructure, I'm pleased to say today we have completed the primary centers 209. And our target is for all the wards to have the primary health centers. So we are working on the 19th, and of course, 2.0 will achieve our target. But we still want investors to come around to help us on what I call the public-private partnership to upgrade and maintain our existing secondary care facilities. We have LabTech also, which LabTech means Laboratory African Teaching University in Montreal. We also are willing to partner anyone that is interested in infrastructure in that university. Also, the other state ambulance service, delighted to have on board on that. We set our goals for 2020, which is our roadmap for sustainable development. Also, infrastructure in education, we have achieved a lot also there. We have our model schools, 6 model schools completed, and also we will be delighted if we have partners that come to our tertiary institutions to assist us in terms of partnering to build refectories for the staff and students. We have one campus now at Ishai, which is a agricultural. Of course, our main aim is to start up that faculty within the next few weeks. By September, students will be there. So also we are happy if we can have investors. Now for agri and food security, yes, we have, as the Excellency mentioned earlier, we started working on the 2 farm estates, and indeed our target is going to 5 within the state. Yes, we also want our investors to come around to partner with us in infrastructure for special processing zones. For the infrastructure in terms of our road network, now we have put in place a number of policy also strategies that is helping us in the state. Professor Aloore has alluded to some of it in terms of the strategy and the policy. But in terms of how we've achieved so far, we we've reduced the deficiency that we met in 2019. What am I saying is that we did a survey January 2020, and we found out that the last certification for 8 years we were able to achieve 33.87 kilometers across the state. But right now, Excellency National Day, we've commissioned 104 kilometers across the state. I would like also to welcome our investors to my slide, which I call the circular excellence acquisition. Now, the circular has 4 segments. Segment 1 is what we are working on now. That is the southeast and 32.2 kilometers. We also want to complete segment 2 and segment 1, which is not part 20.8 kilometers. In all, our aim is to complete the stretch of southeast and the northeast, which is 53 kilometers. But the entire stretch of that sometimes is 110 kilometers. So we are really partner, any one of us here that is going down, to help us to complete the rest of the 7 kilometers. Look at what is happening. Now, on the other part, we also have 500 meters both left and right of this circular route for development. And development we are talking of here, number 1 includes the regular transit area, which will have 10 cars. We also have the Ibadan medical district, which we have provided 25 to 500 hectares of land. We also have the trade zone, which is 1,240 hectares of land. Somebody is coming of God now to see more of that. That is 2,000 hectares. All accounts is the supply. The most interesting part of this supply is that the supply will be across 6 local governments, and that is local government. That's the southeast part. It ends to Egbeda, which is to Daddy. Now 20.8 is that the route to Akiyele. Then from Akiyele part, we have 33 kilometers that goes to Ido. Then from Ido to Aloore, that's 23 kilometers. So we find that around this circular route, there are a lot of places.
Can you check my status?
Also have the housing infrastructure, essential information. Around that circular route, we started working on at that end. We also intend to have your state expo trade fair. We have provided 25 meters for that. Materials market, again, we have 25 meters for that. Now, what we enjoy, which I want to conclude on, we are looking at the win-win approach. On the government side, on the citizen and resident, and win. On the investor side, we have a win. The government wins when the needs of citizens, dwellers, travelers, businesses are met in a robust environment providing for prosperity. And our citizens also win when they are free to pursue happiness and livelihood and feel enabled to achieve all this. Private sector wins, of course, when it grows profitably and enjoys the ample human natural resources endowed with giving back to taxes to operate commercials. Thank you.
I don't understand. Is this live? Yes? somebody can go back and see. But then this is good. This is good. If anything is happening, because if they don't see it over, so we just started from where we finished. So,
Well, it's an honor to be here today. This exciting summit. Thank you for the invitation and the opportunity to speak about this exciting project that we've been working on closely with the governor and recently for the last 6 months or so. Militant, and it was on the professor's last slide, one of the last slides. Yeah, this is a large-scale project to the north of Ibadan that's really pivoting off of the newly train station there that links Ibadan to Lagos. You see it as an economic destination, a 21st century urban destination, and a model sustainable community for the region of OYO State and Nigeria in general. So as I mentioned, yes, it's to the north of OYO State and in Ibadan on the circular road that was just discussed, linked to Lagos through the train line. And we've really approached the site by having a foot in both the urban fabric of Ibadan, but then also the ecological and natural landscape of OYO State that we've been talking about. There are two sides to the project, one of living and one of making, that align with two primary road axes that border the east and the west. This is an overview of this project, looking from the south to the north, with the new train station and an activation zone in the south, fronting the circular road, ring road. The framework plan is really based around natural systems and the existing water courses within the project, within the site. And across these, there's a street hierarchy distribution that links the different neighborhoods together with 21st century infrastructure. It's a mixed-use district, but with a large component of light industry and R&D, which really benefits from the synergies with the dry port that's adjacent to the new train station. Here's another view looking from the north to the south and back towards Ibadan. So yeah, as we mentioned, it's a model 21st century hub for Ibadan. We see this first phase around the train station within that 500-meter zone that we just talked about to the north of the main road as a model hub. Elsewhere within it, there'll be vibrant communities immersed in nature, and a place and more urban environments as well, creating places for people to come together. R&D campuses, building off of the universities and great research institutions in the region, along with some warehouses of light industry and manufacturing. I think agriculture and agroforestry was mentioned quite a lot this morning. This plan really builds into the strengths of the region and capitalizes on that. Next. And of course, it's a large project, but we've been looking at prototypical neighborhoods both for living and working and making to bring this vision to reality and a greater sense of achievability. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. A lot has been said. Everything to stand on the existing protocols. We want to go very right straight into a panel discussion. And to lead this conversation will be myself. My name is Charles Higuere. I'm the country leader for infrastructure and capital projects at Aloore, Nigeria. Very quickly, we have assembled an erudite panel, and we'll be fielding a number of questions based on a lot of the presentations that we've heard. You will all agree that infrastructure is not an end in itself, it's a means to an end. And therefore, every other sector that we'll be speaking today will be riding on the back of infrastructure. So it's critical that we get this first, and it's not by accident that the infrastructure panel session is coming first. So to kick off the conversations, I would start first by addressing a question to Otumba Shegun Ogunyi, who is the Chief of Staff of Oyo State Government. And I'd like you to paint a picture for us in terms of what sort of policies, what sort of incentives are available within Oyo State that would attract private sector participation to invest within infrastructure.
Yeah, thanks a lot. There is a deliberate policy in Oyo State of trying to encourage private sector partners. What we need as a government, by transparency, is to bring to bear what is actually called the alternative funding AFA, starting from the project approach, where we can sit down with an investor, contractor, or the potential investor and say, we have XYZ projects to deliver. Can we work out the reality of our payment? It is backed by an SPO, and we've been able to encourage investors to bring in their money to the project. And I believe probably to the examples of what we've been able to achieve like that. The Adama Silver Stadium, that is, we commissioned it, was built on the AFA approach. We've also been able to do what we call the Shaki Township Road, the same AFA approach. Likewise, an ongoing project, that's Agia Amunku Road, and we also have, I believe, the project that the Secretary should come up of the federal government project of linking Oyo National to the side. It's an ongoing project and it's also a platform project. So for us, it's like we sit down with an investor, the contractor, and we have a tailor-made agreement. So it's not one size fits all. Basically, we're saying you have an investor and you have a team outside the box, and you believe that when you sit down with us, you can put something on the table that will help work together. Let's see most receptive to hearing from you, and then we can make it work.
Thank you very much, Tumba Shegun. Very quickly, very interesting response that you've highlighted. I think it will be very important for us to also sort of understand what sort of execution framework, for instance, if an investor is interested in putting some funds within Oyo State, what sort of investment framework would be utilized in executing that any particular infrastructure?
It depends on the project that is being considered. Currently, we are doing a lot of PPP projects with investors, doing projects on housing, that's with the Ministry of Land, and some investors. We have quite a number of real estate in terms of medium class development. And what we tend to do is to form an SPV. Basically, we put down what we believe is an asset, which is a piece of land, and the investor bringing in his capital to form an SPV between the state government and the investor, and then the state will have X percentage shares in the SPV. And such SPV, the CFO, the certificate of occupancy, will be invested in this SPV. So as an investor, you are sure that the investment is secure because you have a CFO. And we as a government, we are also sure that we are not taking our land and just basically saying, this is not mine, because we are also part of the SPV. And for a potential buyer or an investor as well who wants to come buy a piece of land, knows that the clean title. So, like I said, it depends on the kind of investment that you're talking about. If we're talking about Sample Road, for instance, we will be going into a conversation, most probably, with the would-be investor to recoup their money. And as a state, we believe in putting our money where our mouth is. I mean, I just mentioned the fact that we're spending over 30 million naira on the circular road. We had a stab at it by trying to invite some investors so that we can grow it with them. But when we realize that they are not too forthcoming, the secretary said, you know what, we have some funds. Why not let's start with the bridges, the interchanges, things that we believe that will take time to come to fruition because we have to cure the bridges and where the things are. And then as a state, we are worried that we start doing that. And basically what we're saying is that all this backbone of the circular road is ready. We're looking for people that can partner with us, and then we can have a concession agreement on them bringing for me. Probably we will also put in additional funds depending on the dynamics. So, as I said, we are very open and very rigid. We approach governance with different mindset, and then what you have to put on the table, we are willing to look at it. And if it makes sense and it will benefit the people of it, we will do it.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that, sir. And just riding on the back of that, I'm very positive that all of those incentives will go a long way in boosting investor confidence. Thank you very much. So I'll just very quickly turn to Professor Shangoduri. You've given us a very elaborate presentation, and you talked about some of the achievements of Governor Sheyi Makinde within OYO State. Perhaps maybe you should highlight some of the priority projects. What are those projects that you want to identify and highlight as key priorities that from today and in further conversations, investors are readily available to start to engage with OYO State government on those projects?
Yeah, let me just our focus as a group is to expand the economy and to link our zones and regions. Our key priority number one is by the circular. Because forcibly, we started working on the first one, which is the southeast, that is 3.2 kilometers. Now, we want partners in that area, like the Chief of Aviation, started working on the bridges, from the district. But we want to move to the northeast part, which is 20.8 kilometers, so that we'll be able to close one end of the circular road, linking Lagos to the north. It will be easier for us, and be able to condense the township. So that's number one. And other ones are the GRS, which is the government conservation area, because I also skip to the government. So that's about the number two. Now, within this we want to do so I've mentioned a lot of things on my slide that we need to do around that. So these are the priorities we need to do make sure that the development around that region is by investors.
Thank you very much, sir. And very quickly, I think we can also extend that project to Tutu as well. Garrett, I know you had mentioned that you've given a project description of Tutu. Could you sort of identify some of the investment opportunities that are currently available within Tutu, and what's the impact of that on the entire, potential impact of that on the entire Oyo State economy?
Thank you. I think Tutu is ripe with investment opportunities and different ways to execute those opportunities as well. I mean, there's a variety of land uses and different townships and different economic nodes within it. I would say though that the execution of any of these infrastructure projects within that particular project requires a clear and robust framework and master plan at its heart, with notable KPIs that success and failure can be measured against, and that these take into consideration the ecological systems from across the site.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I mean, a lot has been said concerning Itutu, and you all agree that there are tremendous investment opportunities available within that space. And just to go a bit further on this, we have Bayo Akonde, who is the special assistant to the governor on ICT and e-governance. Bayo, could you tell us a bit about what you have done so far within that space?
Thank you. I think from a comment to the
So now for some reason I couldn't put in data you sent it, so I told somebody to I just send me few. So this is the only one we sent.
Coming from an e-governance standpoint, if you look at our web portal, we have 130,000, which is more than that your fingertips can see, have access to we also look at most of our applications that
Let's see if this, since this one is working, let's just need to see if we can get
we are willing to share important investments. I think that's
Right, thank you very much. I mean, it's very quite interesting to hear the role that digital infrastructure is playing in terms of supporting your state. Because of time, we will not be able to proceed for that. I will just give each of the speakers 1 minute each for some final thoughts across, what we just discussed. I mean, more or less like a pitch to some of the investors that we have. What would that mean in terms of what you want to sell within your portfolio? Please go ahead.
Chief Manager is there, and he has told all of us that he's willing to engage in one-on-one. And for me, as President said, we are seriously looking and willing to partner with people, serious investors on the looking to on the circular road and on hospitality as well as real estate. And we're looking at a state where there's no red tape. His Excellency graciously approved, signing the law, or just taking investment ability agency. I used to be DD before I became staff. And basically what our agency does is to work with all other agencies, and then that makes the job quite fast. And the agency reports directly to the secretary. So we come to your state, one of the business, go to a school, what's that? Any of our agency, and let's make sure that everything is protected and do.
Thank you very much. Final thoughts, Shamali.
Want investors to come and join us on the more importantly, His Excellency also is interested in providing training from Omia to Germany. So please, that investors come around, invest
All right, thank you. Garrett?
Yeah, so I think incredibly encouraging the emphasis on ICT and tech within the upcoming populace, and I think that that can be leveraged in securing investors' confidence as things go to cloud-based systems to monitor performance and accountability of investments, whether they be large infrastructure projects or other development projects.
Thank you very much, Ronald.
Thank you very much. Can we please put our hands together once again? Okay, I'm here once again to say, please indulge me. Can I ask that when we go out there, if we can try to keep the noise down, because our conversations, our selfies, our photographs, and we haven't seen some of our friends in a while, perhaps since COVID. The noise reverberates in here, it disrupts the day, so please, if you can try and keep the room calm, we're here for serious business. Much appreciated. Thank you so much for indulging me. Can I also apologize? I understand, most especially to their Royal Majesties, that they weren't able to hear very well on this side of the room. I do apologize. We are trying to address the sound problem. Our microphones are not quite agreeable to us today, but we will get there. So we will ensure that we try and address that for our second panel. And before I go any further, I'd like to just make a couple of announcements, breaking news as it were, as I did mention. We have the OYO State African Business Alliance, and they would like to very much make His Excellency the patron of the organization. So may we please put our hands together on this. We also have here in our midst today representatives from the University of Oxford Said Business School. We have Jonathan Dover and Stephanie Nisson. I hope I said that right. Can we please put our hands together for them? And Your Excellency, they have invited you to visit the university later this year, which they are looking forward to. And they would very much like to work with OYO State to create a bespoke executive training program to empower managerial executives within the government to further ensure sustainable growth in Oyo State. They'll also like to have the possibility of a cross-university partnership mentoring program between LUTEC and the University of Oxford. Can we please put our hands together? Thank you so much for that. Okay, so for our second panel this afternoon, and we will be going to lunch shortly, and as I did mention, that we do have opportunities for those who want to have a private conversation with His Excellency. Our ushers are here, they're in the room. Can I have the ushers just indicate? Please put your hands up for me. If you can just indicate with the ushers, so that we can ensure that you get into the room and have the conversation. So if you would just quietly, if possible, just let our ushers know so that we can direct you to the right room and you can sit down and have a conversation. Please work with us to go at the time that we can give you. Thank you so much. And for our next panel discussion, it's about agribusiness. You know, food is very important to all of us. So, leading that this afternoon, can we please put our hands together for Mr. Lebo Akonde? Next, we saw Dr. Ayola Oduton. Can we put our hands together? Mr. Ayola Oduton. Can we also welcome Mr. Tony Jebulo? Forgive me if you have a microphone together. Thank you. Thank you. And do we have Dr. Tunde Omole in the house? I know they're hungry, but can we please give them a warm welcome? They're not going to keep us very long. I haven't seen all of my panelists. Are we in the room or are we just having a conversation? They're coming. I'm still missing 2 panelists. Where? I'm still missing a panelist. Are we all here? Are we, gentlemen, are we mic'd up? Ready? Should your mic fail you, please use the broken mic. Okay. Please take the mic.
Your Excellency, Excellency, Speaker of the House of Assembly, all other distinguished guests here today. My name is Debo Akonde, as earlier mentioned. I work with OYO State and the Netherlands from Agriculture. With IT, I work as the director of the business incubation platform for Southern Africa. OYO State, I work as executive advisor to His Excellency of Agribusiness, the Director General of OYO State Agribusiness Development Agency. And here with me this morning and afternoon, I have 3 other panelists. We think that it's very essential for private sectors to private sectors and those that has experienced the revolution that has taken place in the state under the leadership of His Excellency in the past 4 years should come and bear witness by themselves. I think this is very, very important in marketing the state. I'm talking about agribusiness. The first of the 3 panelists that I have here today is Dr. Ayola Oduton, beef, eggs, and fish. Dr. Oduton has over 30 years of experience in the Nigerian poultry industry. He was the former president of the Poultry Association of Nigeria. In 2019, Harvard Business School wrote a case study on the advancement of agribusiness, particularly on broiler production through his company. His group of companies has a combined investment of around $44 million, and 75% of this investment is in Oyo State. His company employs over 2,700 workers. They are So Dr. Aloore is a long-term investor in real estate. He's been there for quite some time. But we also think that it is necessary to bring a new investor so that as a new investor also you can be able to relate. And there with me I have engineer Anthony Jibulu. Anthony Jibulu is an engineer, master's in engineering management, and is an alumni of Harvard Business School. He has about 30 years experience in project and construction management, in oil and gas company, and 7 years in agribusiness. He sits on several boards and is the founder and CEO of Milcom Ban Agribusiness Limited. Milcom Ban Agribusiness is currently establishing a $1.5 million pilot cow, dairy, and grain farm on a 300 hectares of land at Fashola Agribusiness Industrial Hub. Is doing this in partnership with Friesland Campaigner and Wampo within that hub. They have a plan to extend this business to over 2,000 animal dairy farm in the third year and to cultivate over 1,000 hectares of land for grain production. Here with me is Engineer Jibulu. And the last person here is Dr. Tunde Adigoke-Amole. And Dr. Amole has a doctorate in feed and forage. He's a livestock scientist with over 20 years of experience in livestock system and development in Africa. He is currently the country director for the International Livestock Research Institute, a CGI organization with 18 offices across Africa and East and Southern Africa, Southern Asia, sorry. He oversees the feed and forage program of IRID in West Africa. He is the livestock compact lead for the African Development Bank Feed Africa Initiative of TAT, with responsibility of developing and implementing livestock-related intervention in 34 African countries. So as a submission, it is very important to note that foreign direct investment, as many of us will have known, so Nigeria has been reducing in the past 10 years to close to around 80% plastic reduction. Even at last year, I think what Nigeria has as a foreign direct investment is just around $2 billion, less than $2 billion. Of these $2 billion, it is very instructive to know that 49% of this came from the United Kingdom. So you can understand one of the reasons why we are here today. This investment mainly went to oil and gas, manufacturing, and agribusiness. So you can know the reason why agribusiness is also important for your state. Agribusiness is an encompassing value chain across. There are diverse investment opportunities along the agricultural value chain, from cow breeding to seed and crop production, processing, aggregation, logistics, poultry, mechanization, breeding, and supermarkets. As a nation, however, we have not really benefited much because we generally view agriculture from rudimentary cultural practices and small holding perspectives, rather than as a business and a major economic sector. For agriculture to grow as economy, it needs to adopt the global practices of considering all the value chains in agriculture. Because of this, the OYO State government is setting the pace again with a paradigm shift from the usual trend to develop an ecosystem that is providing the right enabling environment for other key actors, particularly private sectors, here today for ease of business entry and ease of doing business in OYO State. This has been mentioned several times today, but I would like to put it in perspectives that OYO State is seated on a 28,000 square kilometer of land that's rightly owned by His Excellency. Putting it in perspective, this means that OYO State landmass is bigger than the whole of the southeast of Nigeria. OYO State landmass is bigger than Rwanda as a country. OYO State landmass is just 2,000, Belgium is just 2,000 square kilometers bigger than OYO State as a state. So we are seated on a boat. And this landmass that we are making reference to has over 70% of this land as arid. Less than 20% of this land has been cultivated. That is fact. His Excellency has said, this is our data. Another data that I would like to relate to us is the fact that OYO State is one of the few states in Nigeria that has true agroecological zones, meaning that most crops that have been planted in Nigeria, whether in the north or the southern part of Nigeria, can be planted in OYO State. Using these statistics and data and much more, in the past 4 years, through the leadership of His Excellency, We piloted a paradigm shift to strengthen agribusiness across value chain. And this has led to a significant result for us. Within the last 4 years, we're able to get close to around $92 million worth of new private sector investment in agribusiness. We're able to access in pipeline and in book around $120 million international development funding. This funding will focus on development of ecosystem for private sectors, investors in diverse agribusiness value chain. So this funding from the development partners is practically focused on developing the ecosystem enabling environment for private sector to thrive in the agribusiness sector within the state. So we are creating the required and necessary background for you as investors to come in. We've also worked with, we ensure that if you need a workforce, we are producing the right kind of workforce for you. So currently, His Excellency has graciously led us to have a biometric of close to around 10,000 farmers. It was mentioned earlier that there was some work being done in Jigawa, in Oyo State as well. We have farmers biometrics, and we have biometrics of around 10,000 farmers within the state. We also have biometrics of over 3,300 young entrants who are mostly university graduates of post-secondary school that were trained through last year on agribusiness in diverse areas. So if you're talking about workforce, we have them well, highly equipped, and this will form some of the major areas that will be required when you want to invest. In addition to that, we have also ensured that we started doing something that is very unique, that has not been done probably anywhere in Nigeria up until today, as far as I know. And that is to start developing what we call agribusiness industrial excellence. Okay? And what this means is that we are creating an ecosystem where, whether for crop production, processing, equipment leasing, and all what has been in agriculture, you can do it within one spot. One of it is around 80% completed, but interestingly, it is almost 100% occupied. And like I said earlier, one of the investors within that port is seated here today. It has about 300 hectares of land that is working. Finally, I think it is good to mention that all this effort produced a great result. Within the last 4 years of Governor Aloore governance, compared to the previous 4 years, we have grown the cultivation of our land by over 40%. This is the data from the Federal Bureau of Statistics, that Oyo State grew the production of crops within the land by 40%. I will give us just one example, and that will be related to different kind of areas. So I will start with you, Dr. Odota. You are one of the largest poultry value chain business in Nigeria, and I said value chain because I'm making reference to end-to-end, not just account breaking or what have you. Can you give us a brief about your business in Oyo State and why Oyo State?
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to say a very much thank you, Excellency, for this. Because we need investors in Oyo State to complement what we are currently doing. And I'll start with a simple example. Our feed company consumes about 150,000 tons of maize a year and about 75,000 tons of soybeans. So a modest company alone can consume all the soybeans produced currently in our state. And we're a small company. Can be supplemented by an additional $200 million just to properly in different parts of the state. And over the last few years, a major concern for most businesses in Nigeria has been security. I will say very, very confidently that except for some very minor incidents where some cattle strayed and broke a fence, which we resolved very strongly, we have had very, very good security processes. I say this because when we close the processing plant in one of the eastern states because we had no peace and had to move it to Agribusiness state. So security has been very important to us, and we have had very, very conducive environment. Another thing is we've had issues in other places with multiplicity of taxes, directors and civil lenders and investment money for your state because we are able to do our business and prosper there. The road network is also good for us because from OYO state we can transport our products to different parts of the country. We supply dairy chips, we supply feed, pharmaceuticals, disinfectants, and all of that around the country. And we also have to networks in OYO state. Makes it very conducive. We also buy the first one, and I'm happy to see the MT here. And all in all, I've been working in OYO state that I've been running this business 20 years. And I'm proud to say that OYO state has been the hub of our business and will continue to do so.
Thank you very much. Dr. Amuli, can you provide a background to livestock sector in your state? We talk a lot about crop production, generally we talk about agribusiness. Your livestock is an area that we are really getting into strongly now as a state. As a scientist and as somebody that has worked in this area, and can you give us a background and see some of the gaps we have there?
It's like I was going on the talks presenting, and when I sat here, I looked behind and I saw that behind the door we have the tractor. Behind that tractor, you could see a grazing land and see bales of hay. And I'm happy to tell us this is happening for us. I don't know where this picture is from, why we should look at the ones because it's happening already in the state. In terms of livestock, I'm happy to share here the great thing that in 1931, Nigeria began to export clarified water fat to the United Kingdom. And that was from our normal white Fulani cattle that we continue value down. 1931, Nigeria was exporting clarified water fat into this country. Shortly after the Second World War, dairy work started being owned by Great Britain, and with that, we couldn't proceed to develop our livestock system in Nigeria. But in 1958, the government felt we could revitalize this business, and it started first in Southwest. Two sites, the Agege Dairy Work and the one in the University of Ibadan. About 1,950 Frisian were imported, settled down in Oyo State and in Lagos State, and we began the work of crossbreeding to improve our breeds. Over the years, we have not actually put more investment in livestock. Let me also let us know that when we talk of the poultry industry, like the just said, Oyo State is the hub of poultry industry in not only West Africa, in the whole of Africa. Monthly, about 16 million DOC are produced right in Oyo State. And they go as far as Mali, as the Gambia, as far as Burkina Faso, because you see people coming to Oyo State to be DOC. In fact, some actually in Kaduna, after actually their DOC bring it to Ibadan to come and sell, because that's the only place they can sell. And people from Kaduna come to Ibadan to come and buy DOC of Kaduna right in Ibadan. And you see both saving to the Republic of Benin. Now, the great investment in livestock in Oyo State is so huge. You have just mentioned about 2 agroecologists we have in the States. We also have one called the derived savanna. That's where you can have ruminant animals, well seated. In other words, in terms of crop, in terms of poultry, in terms of ruminant animal, we can settle them down in Oyo State. Again, I can tell you for free that apart from Lagos, where per day about 7,000 heads of cattle are being slaughtered, Oyo State is the next, about 3,700 heads of cattle being slaughtered every day. Each cattle is within 250,000 to 300,000. We are talking of about 15 million USD in a space of 3 weeks, 2 weeks happening in Oyo State. About 800 heads of goats are being slaughtered every day in Nigeria. Each of them is 30,000. We're talking about daily 1.5 million USD investment going on in that place. In terms of consumption, the people who are even rearing the animals are not the ones consuming it. That was why when there was a time that there was a destruction of beasts, people could not move their livestock investment, their livestock production and farm produce to the southwest. There was a problem everywhere. In other words, where you have the consumption, like someone mentioned, and you have the enabling environment to make this happen, I think that's where we should be. But you see, I noticed something that happened. Well, maybe for the first time, I hope we have it, maybe the second time, we directly discussion with the government. I noticed that within the space of 2-3 years, he is acting like a prophet, to people who believe in him. And I will tell you, in the whole of the federation, it's only Oyo State that has an MOU with the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture. That's how it is. Sometime last year, the state signed an agreement with our own organization, the International Livestock Research Institute. I also discovered that the state started revitalizing the Fashola. Fashola was the hub of livestock in 1962-64. When I visited Fashola, I still saw some of the foundation of the livestock investment in those days. But something happened in those days. They were all government investments. So there was no sustainability. The likes of the Baba Aloore labored to make sure that this is happening. Because you have the best agroecology to do that. But now, working with you, I realized that we are bringing in the private sector to develop that. So that led us to the LPRES. Because when LPRES was going to come, LPRES was looking for a state that has that kind of relationship with international organizations.
So, Dr. Amale, what is LPRES?
Okay. LPRES is a World Bank loan, 500 million. It's already in the country already. It's been signed. LPRES is livestock productivity and resilience support. And I think this is the first time this country will be investing such huge amount in livestock. I was speaking with the African director of BNGF to also support, and he said, 500 million, what kind of investment do we want to have that we have million? So, currently there are 8 states that have been qualified to assess this story. Give me 1 minute to tell you a story. I had a call on a Sunday, and someone called me that HealthPress, Oyo State is not on the list of HealthPress. And Dr. Amale, you are in Oyo State. I reviewed the whole of HealthPress documents and made presentation to the World Bank bringing the country back. And I was told that the document had been submitted and the governor kept it. That was the document. You remember I called you that day. I said, which document? He said, well, the document is with the governor. We were told that somebody gave it to the governor and the governor kept it. I said, give me 2 minutes to make a call. Then I called him. I said, have you heard about HealthPress? You said it. So I called the person. I said, I'm not sure you are referring to your state. Because the only person that called and gave me information about either is going to have the document and is keeping this document. Say, yes, somebody mentioned his name. I said, okay. what do you want us to do to put the state on this? And they gave us a lot of things to do. And when I said the government has acted as a prophet, some of the things we needed to do had been done by the state. We now have Fashola ready as a place that the livestock service center will be built. So that was the scope for us. We have youth who have been trained, that was the scope of the state. We have investors who are, that was the scope of the state. So we are given 14 days, 2 weeks, if you can remember, to get all these documents ready. And I said, before the end of 2 weeks, you are going to get the documents ready. And on the 10th day, the document was submitted. On the 14th day, I was called that OYO State, I was not on that list, has moved to number 2 after Bauchi. And since then, we have remained at that level. And the only state in southwest Nigeria that is on health press now. The beautiful thing about health press is we just don't have 30 million. If you finish 30 million and you demonstrate that you are profitable, the World Bank is ready to handle that 30 million. So it's not 6 years, it's actually 20 years. But 6 years to start and to see how we can demonstrate.
Thank you very much, Mr. I think I will give the credit of what you just mentioned to His Excellency. When you called me, I called you, and the second day you told me, bring the letter and go and sign it. And that's why we have to thank you, His Excellency, for being asking as well. Mr. Jimmy, you are one of the private sector investors that is passionate. Why passionate? Why? I mean, give us a piece of the story as to how you get passionate.
The journey to Barcelona has been long. I don't know how much of it you want to hear, but a couple of years ago, I got introduced to livestock. I have a background in oil and gas, but I went for a presentation like this, and I met someone who wanted skin of pigs to the tune of, he said he consumes 160,000 of those daily, and the business was about 100 million. And he was sourcing it all over the world. And I asked if I could supply that to him from Nigeria. He said yes. And I came back to Nigeria, I couldn't find one farmer, anybody who could meet the specifications. So that was where my interest in livestock and farming started. So while I was looking for how to meet that demand, I stumbled on dairy farm. So I took the interest in rearing cattle and to producing milk. And I started looking for science. Surprisingly, I've been dancing around, land was given to us in Ishen on the road, and we were negotiating before COVID came. And by the time we came back after COVID, His Excellency had built the road, and the land skyrocketed, and the guys sold the land. So we lost the land. So in the bit of looking for the place, I also go back to Dr. Campaign, and he expressed, he took me to Fashola. Now, my journey to OYO State has been, it ticked all the boxes for me. You know, especially when you're coming into agribusiness from an outside point of view. I'm not your day-to-day farmer. Now, security is there, like you said. Fashola farm is all fenced, 200 hectares. You have a hub where you have farmers where we can interact, lend helping hands. Fashola was built up. You had lands, you had houses, you had warehouses all built. So we came in there, we bought the warehouse, we bought the land. Everything we needed was there. Now I have access to the experts, the SMEs. Tamole here, if you're talking about livestock in the whole of Africa, he's #1 person you need to go to. There you have bigger companies who have gone ahead as well, and your own supporting. So, one word that really describes our journey, our vision, certainly in our state, has been that of accessibility. You know, before we even settled for fashion, that the road that His Excellency referred to, that's the road between OYO and Isheni, is also built in. So you have a tide road all the way to the farm. So if you want to go anywhere, you know, I have good roads all around the farm. So it's a place we're looking to settle for good. We're already working out plans for, initially what we're doing in Fashola right now is the final phase. So we weren't sure whether we were going to do it there or not. But right now I can authoritatively say to you that our year 3 plan, which was to build a $10 million dairy farm, is going to happen in Oyo State.
I've not been told that we had just 5 minutes left. But I will give you maybe just one more closing remark to each one of you. If you, you are investors, you are scientists, if you will tell anybody here reason why you should invest in Oyo State, what would that be?
Like I said, for me it's accessibility. If you're looking for support, the support system for your agribusiness to grow, you can't find it better in Oyo State. Location of Oyo State between the southwest and the northern states, and the support you get from the government. So everything you need is within Oyo State, and I see no reason why I should be any more.
I've been in Oyo State for a very long time, but I have never felt this good about working with the government. I can see the positive responsiveness, and even when we encounter issues, I believe that going forward with our press and all the things we'll be able to get the right kind of attention. Also, Oyo State is blessed because I can tell you for free we have a 700-hectare ranch in Ogbomoso where we have capacity for 1,500 heads of cattle. And we found there that using a particular breed of cattle from northern Nigeria, we're able to get them to gain 1 kilogram weight per day on 10 kg of feed. Now this is excellent result because Oyo State also has the ecological profile for it. It is not rainforest, it is not deep savanna, it is just a derived savanna, what is called now from the expert. So we do not have all those medical problems that you will find where you have too much rainforest and all of that. We don't have the heat issues you will find in the cold north, and we have water. You know, so Oyo State is blessed like that, and I think we're happy to be there, and we intend to further, with the support of the government, increase our staffing, you know, and our investment in the future.
Thank you very much. Dr. Aloore.
I think the best place to invest is where you have all the resources can be used. And from all we have discussed, I think we have it in those states. In terms of research and development, which is key to anything that we invest in, we also have it in the states. And the willingness of the people, the market, the support, the need. Actually, everything we need. And the rest of mine, I think I'm hearing that. Thank you.
Finally, I think it's just really and very important to mention that what we have that is most important to me is the leadership. I'm not patronizing His Excellency, he knows that I won't do that. But the reality is that for me, something that I've been dreaming about is to find a leader that has a developmental focus. And that is one of the major driving force for me in this government. A man that say the thing and stand by it, and ensure that it's done with all integrity. So that to me I think matters a lot when you're talking about investment. You have a leader that said, keep on going out here, I'll get you back. You know, I'll back you up. So far I know that this is from science, logic, and data, as you always say. And you have to do that. Those things you need to get a spirit right now to talk with my boss. You know, it's a first class person, so let's do that. But in addition to that as well, I think it's also good to mention that in agribusiness we have major projects. Agriculture is where that is going to be of major importance to the investors here today. One was the one that Dr. Amade mentioned, which is a Calabar Support Bank supported project. And I'm looking forward to any of us here as investors that are looking into getting into the area of livestock to have some discussion with us. Me, itself as well, if they are going to provide a technical backstopping for this project within the state. It's a $30 million project, as he has mentioned. But in addition to that as well, we have what we call a strategic agro-processing zone project from the African Development Bank. That is another $40 million project that the state has signed on to. That is also meant to build something else. I mean, like what we have in Fashola within the state, a particular location very close to where we have the Lututu is where we have that as a child. So if you are thinking of investing in an ecosystem, that is very secure, as they have mentioned, please talk with us as well. And lastly, and I think that is something also the government or the Ministry of Agriculture as well, we have the RAM project, where we have resources. The World Bank came to do 1,200 kilometers of roads, rural roads, meaning that all the adjunct roads that are necessary with what Excellency is doing on the main roads now. So you are looking for the best. You have a leader that is upright and that stands with us and that takes agribusiness very seriously and understand that business. We have projects with the United Development organizations that are providing resources to us and check our record very well. It wasn't the case in the past. United development organizations are smart. Once you have a leader that is not good enough, they took their money. But now we are having them supporting us as a state. But beyond that as well, whether it is for the livestock or for crop production, you have the backing of the United and the best research institute that you can talk about in the whole of Africa. I work with IIT as a scientist, and I know that you can't get it better than IIT in terms of crop production. He works with Aloore as a scientist, and is the country director for Nigeria. You can't get it better for livestock than having somebody that's seated there. We have two people that you can relate with. You need to have it onboarding, towards your business. And quite distinctively as well, Excellency established the OYO State Agribusiness Development Agency as a one-stop shop for agribusiness in the state. You don't need to go to the Ministry of Agriculture, or the Ministry of Land, or the Ministry of Force, or any other ministry. Just come to us. All your problems, all your issues, we'll be handling it, and it can be our business. Thank you very much.
We learn more and more about the opportunities on which we ought to be talking, we ought to be conferring, we ought to be collaborating. I think what this has done today is bring forward something that I've been talking about for many years, and that is collaborative advantage. When we're competing with each other and we're fighting for our own ends, that's fair enough if that's the only battle that we have. But actually, when you look at the opportunities for your state and the challenges it faces over the next 20 or 30 years, we need to collaborate. We need to find how this person, that person, that person, that person, that person, and this person start working together to solve some of the issues that we're being confronted with this morning. The next issue is to deal with rumblings. Now, I've been given instructions. Whether the instructions will work, I don't know. But if you're favored, you're sitting in the front row. So, I have my guide. Where is Peter? I nearly have my guide. And when I have my guide, I will make the next stage of the announcement. We talked a little bit earlier about the opportunity of an OYO Business Alliance. It's a development that we've been working on within British African Business Alliance for some time in terms of identifying the strength of the business community in the UK. Partly, that is the African community here, and most specifically the business professionals in the African community here. But partly, it is also the UK companies that wish to work in Oyo State or wider Nigeria or anywhere on the continent. But since we're talking about Oyo State, the British companies that want to work there, how between this conference and the next conference do we start to line up the projects that will be part of a pipeline of activities that will build the GDP in Oyo State? So that is something for us to think about and to talk about. How we bring those professionals together, how we engage